Any advice for when we're feeling weird? Where should I look? What should I do?
Just look at us.
Look at you. Okay.
It's conversation.
Perfect.
We're talking.
It gets weird, and then I'll start like, I don't know. What's wrong with my titty?
Just look at the titty. It brings you good luck.
Oh, that's a titty too.
I was like, what are you even talking about?
That's
Which
not
titty?
a titty. That's a boob.
That's a boob.
It
right?
is,
It's
right?
a boob. Titties are small.
There's a difference?
Yeah, it is.
You know what? That's valid. That's valid.
It's titties, breast, and then boobs. Titties, A, little B stings. Then B to C, that's a breast. Anything beyond that's a boob.
That's a boob.
Okay.
Breastises.
The
The breastises.
So when I talk, I'm gonna just talk to the titty.
Okay.
Oh my
Talk
God.
to the titty.
Well, listen, man. We about to have some fun, and they didn't even know that we just started.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's how they always did this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part of self is guilty for that. Exactly.
Oh my God. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, so we're here.
Right.
Right, because if I do the whole like, all right, you guys ready? 3, 2, people get nervous.
Get weird.
Right?
It's
Get
awkward.
real
We
weird.
just
I
in
get
the
weird.
flow.
Then all of a sudden your hands raise up. I don't know where to put these.
Yeah.
Yo, so guys, if you're watching, we are in a different situation.
Right.
We are not in DJ Silk's studio. We are in the Boogie Down Bronx. Didn't think this was going to happen.
Right.
DX, baby.
We are here with BDSM Royaltiy, in my opinion, my estimation.
That was the first. I like that one.
That
I'm gonna have to-
hit.
I think
That's it.
That hit.
I might have to get my chalice.
What day is it?
Royalty for real. We are in the dungeon of Sir Marvelous and his partner in crime, Syphon, the unicorn.
That's
Is that
me.
right?
That's me. That's correct. Yeah.
All right, I didn't mess it up.
I'm used to saying like welcome, but now we're in your territory.
Yeah. Welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks
So
for
welcome.
coming.
I think it's all the dildos and the plugs around me that's got me
Got you
Little
feeling
On
some way?
edge.
not on edge.
You don't want to just fall over anywhere.
No, when I was setting up, I did actually hit a dildo. I'm like, damn, that's a first.
That's the first.
No, but thank you. First of all, thank you for having us.
Okay.
Appreciate that. Your dungeon is magnificent.
Thank you so
Seriously.
much.
Thank you.
This shit is like Transformers.
Yeah.
More than meets the eye.
Definitely got a speakeasy thing to it, right?
Yeah.
I love it.
Secret.
Secret. So this episode, we're gonna do this differently. We're not gonna do our normal things like play stupid games, win stupid prizes. We're not gonna. Am I the asshole? We're not going advice. We're not doing anything. We would be remiss if we did this kind of shit with this opportunity.
Yeah.
So that's all out the window. You agree, Rell?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. All right.
Consensus. Consent. That's
Consent,
great.
yeah.
We're already off to a great start. I just wanted to put that out there.
Right. You know, we have Elsa in the background taking B-roll. You heard?
Yeah.
I love it. So, I met you. I was introduced to you, sir, by way of Horrible Decisions live show in New York at Sony Hall.
Yeah.
The two of you. Right. I didn't realize that we also saw you at the DC show that we went to. Right.
Bad
I
memory
forgot.
on
Right.
his part.
Yes.
Yeah, it was. There was some things that happened at that show for me personally. But the thing that you do, we're gonna get into it, was absolutely amazing. And every woman that I've spoken to that I said I was going to interview you they got wet.
Oh.
Instantly wet.
I appreciate that.
There was not enough room for all of them to come and be in your presence.
Absolutely.
So that's a beautiful thing. Rell,
Yeah.
how did you feel when you saw what he did?
That was a first. So I saw you in DC as well. And, you know, when you think of BDSM and you think of like 50 Shades of Grey,
Yeah.
like it's, I don't want to say played out, but it's like, oh, all
No,
you
it's
do is just,
definitely played out.
tied up and that's it.
It's the
And then-
usual, very,
Right.
you know, cookie cutter. That's what they put out
You
there.
can't see the pleasure. I mean, unless you're already into kink and BDSM, it's hard to see what's so pleasurable about it when you're looking at something like 50 Shades of Grey. But I truly believe that when you see me perform, you can actually see like, yo, that looks like it feels good.
Right.
It does. All right. So the first thing I need to know is your origin story. So everybody has every superhero has an origin story. What happened in their life to take them off the path that they were on to this path, which is very unorthodox. I mean, especially being a black man in this space, because what we traditionally see is Ken, Barbie.
Yes. Yeah.
That like you were a different breed altogether. And in fact, I'm not even aware of anybody else. And I don't want to offend anybody that is like, we do it too. But I'm not aware of anyone else who does exactly what you do. So how did you get here? What happened?
Well, my origin story would be a two-part story, right? The first part would be, how did I get inspired to accumulate so many toys and tools and things that I use during my sessions now? That origin story is basically I was just looking for a way to last longer in bed, because I was just coming fast, right? And I went on Google, and it ended up sending me down the rabbit hole of all of these different articles and blogs and things of that nature. And I caught myself reading a lot of things that were written by women that were in relationships with men, talking about their experience sexually and how they were left unsatisfied. They weren't able to receive, reach orgasms when they were having partner sex, and how a lot of them would actually speak about, using their vibrator at a separate time or right after sex was over so that they can eventually give themselves an orgasm. And I kept seeing that vibrator. Now I'm pretty young at this stage, right? And I'm like, all right, I see vibrator. And I got fixated on that, and I went down to the village and I brought me a vibrator, and I used it with my partner while penetrating her. And she was so blown away by the feelings that she was receiving. The last thing on my mind was coming, right? I was like, I just want to keep doing this and keep doing this. And I also was thinking to myself, was like, if one toy can do this, let me get another and another and another. It took me a while before eventually got, purchasing another toy. But I knew from that moment that this was something that I wanted to add to my arsenal. So, almost 20 years later, I definitely have accumulated tons of different tools to use during my sessions and things of that nature. Some you've probably bumped over or bumped into.
Right.
But definitely that's part of how I was inspired to want to, accumulate the toys and be interested in things like that. The second part of how I wanted to become a professional dominant is because, like, again, I've always had these tools and toys and things of that nature. And I went to a swingers party, and a good friend of mine's now, but at the time I had no idea who he was. His name is Sir Daniel. He was actually performing at this particular swinger party, and there was a line of women lined up to go next or sign up to volunteer for a demonstration from him. And I'm watching him do what he's doing, and he's killing. He's amazing at what it is that he does. But I'm also, in my back of my mind, I'm like, I have a lot of that stuff at home. I never thought
that was the crazy part. It's like, I have all these tools.
I have a lot of those things at home. I'm like, I never thought that I could, put out a little bit of a display like so, and get paid professionally to perform and to do these different acts and things of that nature. So I kind of made it a declaration to myself that I was going to do what I can to research and study how to become, what he was at that time. And I took the mentorship of a couple of other people that were in the game, and to kind of piggyback on what you said about a lot of people not necessarily being as known, is because the topic of, BDSM and kink is so taboo. People have other jobs and things that they don't want to be publicized, as far as what they do in a bedroom or, in dungeons and things of that nature. So there's a lot of people out there. There's some people that are really killing it. I take a little bit of knowledge from everybody that I see that I like, and I just, add it to what it is that I do.
Okay, so that's cool, because what it sounds like is people are generous in this space. There's enough for everybody to eat. Nobody's holding on to anything. If they're willing to give a hand up. Is that the case?
Yeah, definitely. I believe that it's just we are a very giving community. You know, there's nothing
Clearly.
perfect about us.
Yeah.
There's nothing perfect about you know, anybody or any types of people, you know, walks of life. But the reality is that we do a lot more communication, and because of that, we are sharing knowledge every day with one another. So, you know, I'm sure after this conversation, you guys might learn something. We're going to learn something for sure, and whoever's listening is going to learn some things as well.
That's the case.
So you said that you're a professional dom. So what is that? What does it entail? Education did you receive? Yeah.
So, as a professional dominant, I take on clients for the opportunity to act as kind of a guide, as a guide to their introductions into kink. So many people have interest in trying different things that are kinky, such as, you know, maybe they want to be tied up, or maybe they want to be flogged with a flogger. Maybe they want to practice some form of breath play or different forms of bondage and things like that. And for many different reasons, they may not be able to experiment with the current partners, or they might not be partnered at all. So where do you go to, you know, experiment with some of these things safely and consensually? You will want to go with someone that, one, has the tools, also has the expertise, and knows what it is that they're doing, and also that you can connect with. And because energy and vibe is everything, you know. That's what I believe that a lot of people love about you know, experiencing a session with me. It's not only that I know what it is that I'm doing, but I go above and beyond to make a person feel comfortable and make it feel like you're not jumping into this massive ocean of experiences. It's something that's always been a part of you. And I try to make it as simple and pressureless as possible, if that makes sense.
Okay. So what is your preferred way of like continuing the education process? Because obviously we're always learning, and every day there's just something new or something different. How do you grow your knowledge?
Well, I'm constantly reading books. We're going to different events all the time. Like I said, you know, it's not uncommon for us to communicate in the lifestyle. For example, if we were to walk into an event today or tomorrow and I see somebody doing something that I love or I'm already doing, and they might have a different style of doing it, immediately you can ask, I'm walking up like, how long you been doing this? You know, I'm asking questions. We're building like, it's not, this is the types of conversations that we have in the lifestyle, and especially at the events that we go to, it's so common to us, but at the same time in the vanilla world is unheard of. You know what I mean?
Right.
Everybody thinks they have good sex or good sexual experiences, but they're also kind of afraid to talk about them in detail, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
For us, we're like, yo, how'd you learn how to do that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Right away, like first walking in, like, yo, that was cool. Or, like, you know what I mean? Like, can you teach me? And, you know, and we're like, again, because of that, we're always learning. But personally, again, I have a mentor that I started with. His name is Bobby Fire. They call him the Fire Marshal. That was someone that taught me fire play, and I just love the way he works in general. I learned a lot from Sir Daniel. I learned a lot from YouTube, believe it or not. Of course, I'm spending countless times on Googles, and I'm reading books, or should I say listening to audiobooks, because I love to listen to multiple books at the same time, and, you know, at different times, but you get what I mean. But I'm constantly looking for different ways to add value to what it is that I provide to people. And that could come in the form of actual research, or it could just be looking for different tools and implements. Sometimes I find myself looking at vanilla items, so to speak, and like, I can use that.
That happens a lot. Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, that's how you learn. Like, I think we've been conditioned to like think that you got to get a certificate from a specific program or go here. We're always learning in that way, but yo, you learn the most out in them streets.
Yes.
And just through other people's experiences.
I believe that, you know, structured education is an amazing thing, but one of the things that they do well is they teach you where to find the information.
How to learn.
You know what I mean? Because the teacher's not writing the book. They're not creating the videos per se. They're just pointing you in the direction of what textbook to read or what, you know, stuff to look up, and then they want you to write about it or speak about it or just, you know, try to take in that information.
Oh, shit. Let me get the next one? Okay. So how long was it before you started monetizing after doing this?
She can tell you.
Oh, a long time, really.
It was quite a while because this was something that I've always done because I enjoyed it, right?
Okay.
And it was a learning experience for me. She was the one, I call her my pimp in a playful way because she'd be like, "Don't come out here without money."
Oh, I
Don't
love
come
it.
back home without money in your pocket.
I love that. Yo, that's
Yeah.
what's up.
He's really talented, and I immediately was like, you should be not only charging more,
right.
Yeah,
but you need a system here because a lot of people are going to want to experience this. A lot of people should experience this, and I know how much energy he puts into it. So it's not just the time that goes into it; it's also the energy. And you know, they people talk about sub drop, but dom drop is very real, and the more into the scene he is, the more he is a little bit depleted after the fact and requires, additional aftercare and things of that nature. And, that plays a part into the price as well. Plus,
Okay.
God knows how much we've been out, and it's like, ooh, I'm going to add this to the dungeon. We're going to bring this home, and I'm going to start learning how to use this tool and implement constantly learning. Like, you're paying
Okay.
for that expertise.
yeah.
So back up to sub drop and
Yeah, I was about to say
dom
that.
drop.
Yeah.
What is that? Because
Yes.
we layman's, we amateurs.
Let the
I love
people
that. I
know,
love
too.
that.
Yeah.
They can learn.
Yeah. So sub drop and dom drop is, after an energy exchange, typically in a scene of some sort, once you have all of those endorphins, all of those different chemicals in your body, they're at this high. But once it's over, you feel that it's gone. It's a withdrawal effect is probably the best way to put it. And, you kind of have to do things to get yourself regrounded in reality, because sometimes depending on the scene and the nature of the scene or what type of play is being engaged in, you have to mentally allow yourself to be either, fully physically present, emotionally present, mentally present, or some people use it as a way to escape a little bit. So you have to get regrounded and centered again, and, kind of reflect on that experience, what it meant to you, the impact it had on you. And, I guess that's the best way I would
So how
describe
do you cure that, or how do you
So aftercare.
prevent that?
So aftercare is a big part of BDSM, right? Everybody speaks about negotiations and how important it is to have a person's consent, but I believe that we should equally speak about the importance of aftercare at a particular scene. And it's not because every scene is going to leave a person, so out of it that they just need to be catered to, so to speak. Of course, you want to give them, some level of attention and other things, but there's a lot that goes into planning a scene as a dom or as a top, and there's a lot that goes into preparing for a scene as a submissive as well. So you just want to make sure that a person doesn't feel abandoned at the end of that scene. Just checking in with them, asking them how things were. Were there any part of the scene that didn't serve you, or was there a favorite part of the scene, so I can take note of these things? That could be part of your aftercare, in addition to making a person feel physically cared to. So some people love the idea of cuddling or hugging or eating some snacks. She loves she call them nibblies. Having some type of
nibblies immediately.
Some people just want to sit and smoke a blunt. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It could be whatever it is, but just making sure that you have some type of process to go, because it can't be like, all right, I'm done, I'll see you later. It can't be like that. That's, it's not how you start, it's how you finish in a lot of cases. And, there are a lot of different experiences where we go through something that's very emotional, and we don't realize that we need some type of care. And a good example of that is after birth. A lot of women experience postpartum after birth because there's so many endorphins and different feelings that are released, not just during the birthing process, but during the pregnancy. And now it's finally over, and it's like, where am I? Who am I? You know what I'm saying?
There's a physical change,
and
mental. You're just, it's different.
And it's important that you cater to that. Another example of that, this could be a little bit of a reach, but sports players, right? They prepare all season for a championship game or to potentially get to a championship game. And now it's finally over, and you get to release all of that energy that you have pent up. And people, that form of aftercare be celebrating. That's why they want to pop a few bottles, go to the club, go to a party, finally eat that steak because they've been on a long, stringent diet for however long. You know what I'm saying? So there are different ways that you can release some of that pent up energy that you spent building up towards something that was very, very important to you, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. Yeah, it's a come down. I feel like
Yeah.
that needs to be a charge that you add to the thing. Like, you
Yo,
want
it is.
that?
It goes in.
It's all
included.
Wait till I get my wet room. Wait till I get my wet room. Oh my God.
Yeah. No, that's amazing, and it makes sense. It really is. It's about the overall experience, right?
Yeah.
So there's the experience before, the experience during, and there needs to be an experience after.
Right.
To segue, or an airlock.
There we go.
It's an airlock.
Well, we got it.
Okay. So this is going to be the question where you get the stunt, you get to sell yourself.
Oh, he set you up nice, didn't he?
Yeah, right. Rell and I asking you to be as arrogant as fuck. Okay, you need to own this.
I'm gonna try.
This is sound bites.
She be trying to get me there. She be trying to get me there.
Here we go.
So
Here
what?
we go.
So what makes the Sir Marvelous experience unique? Like aside from your aesthetics,
Right.
like you suited and booted, right? Why are you the person they should choose over anybody else? Why are you the one over the people you've been learning from and all of them? Like, we love them, but fuck them for now.
Respectfully.
They're not here.
You know, I pay attention. I pay a lot of attention. You know, my consultation is a very important process for me because I want to try to take as much as I can and use it against you. You know what I mean? So often,
Essentially.
so often, you know, we try to share information with people and we feel like it fell on deaf ears. You know what I mean? If you tell me there's a word that you love being told, if you love being told good girl, if you love being told how beautiful you look or how good you feel or how good you smell, best believe I wrote that shit down. I could go in my notes right now and pretty much all of my clients, I have a list of notes of things that I have about them, what they like to receive, what they like to be told, sometimes even down to what their favorite color is. And it's something about that intentional experience that you give a person. It just makes the difference. I'm not, as much as you may want to believe it, there are going to be some fundamental things that I do with everybody. The flogging, the massage portion, you know, and things of that nature. But it's not a cookie cutter thing. I'm trying my very best to make it as unique as possible. And I think that is what separates me. In addition to that, I have a very filthy mouth. I love to talk. I believe in manifestation. Anybody that has ever done a session with me will know that I will talk you through your orgasms. I will build that up. I will pour into you as much as I can verbally, you know? So, and I believe that is one of the most underrated or underestimated kinks or sexual experiences is how powerful talking to a person is during an experience.
Agreed, because what is our biggest sexual organ?
Yes, our brain.
Our brain. So it's all about what's in our head leading up to it.
Yes, yes.
That was a perfect answer. That's sound bites. Those are bars.
I appreciate that.
Nah, seriously. But it speaks to, like, you know, something someone told me a long time ago. The difference between mediocrity and greatness is the attention to detail.
Yes.
Everything that's luxurious, everything that is sought after, attention has been paid to the details and the details within the details. And that's clearly just from your space. That's what you do here.
Yes.
You know, so yeah, that's why people should avail themselves to your services.
Absolutely.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So you provide this unique experience. What does the vetting process look like for your clients?
So I use my consultation as part of my vetting process, which requires my potential clients to take a BDSM quiz. And the reason that I love using that quiz is because I always recommend quizzes as an opportunity to open up good dialogue, especially as it relates to kink and sexual experiences and things like that, because they're going to pose questions that people may not naturally think to ask, but also it gets the conversation going, you know what I mean? And then we're able to take the results of those quizzes and just review them together. And while we're talking about these particular results, other conversations are going to come up about things that you might have experienced and things like that. And I try my very best to correlate, you know, what's on the quiz or what has happened to you in your intimate life and why you might desire these things. And a lot of the times it pairs up. But I also am looking to see what I can feel from that person. This is going to sound real cliche, but I'm big on energy. I'm big on manifestation. Anybody has ever worked with me, she'll tell you manifestation and energy, like for me,
that's a
that's more powerful
superpower.
than science in some ways. In some ways, to me, I could feel a vibe. You can feel when somebody is good for you or good to you, and when you don't listen to that gut feeling inside,
It always goes wrong.
It always goes wrong. So a lot of the times, it has a lot to do with that. Of course, I'm looking through a person's Instagram page, just trying to figure out if a person's crazy or not, if I'm getting some type of vibe and things like that. But I've been blessed to manifest some amazing clients. I mean, absolute amazing clients. Like,
Really blessed.
it could bring me to tears if I told you some of the things that have been put in my direction, that of people that have helped me and supported me, and especially on this journey of the things that I want to accomplish. It's like God is just keep putting people in my life, like, oh, this person and that person. I'm like, oh my God, you do what? You work where? And you love me?
Yeah, man. No.
And and they're like, I just want to see you win because I love what it is that you do. So that is the best answer that I can give as far as my vetting is concerned. And
That's the perfect answer.
Yeah.
To be quite honest, it's amazing what happens when you're in the journey you're supposed to be on.
Okay.
It's amazing what falls out of your way and what falls in your way that you need to get you to the next step.
and I've learned to accept when things don't go my way, because I've learned that it's usually something better for a reason. Like that's something that,
Yo, everything that happens to you happens to your greater good.
Yeah,
It's just about your perspective and how you look at it. If you look at it as it's a bad thing, then it's a bad thing. But if you look at it as an opportunity,
it's an opportunity.
it's an opportunity.
Yeah.
So that makes sense why when we were supposed to do it before, and I was like, yo, man, this
We
shit
couldn't
don't
do
feel
it
like
without.
it don't
We couldn't
feel
do it
right.
without Rell.
Right.
Come on, we couldn't do it without. We couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it did not feel right.
Don't
Like,
force it.
everything-
Don't
everything
force
was
it.
going wrong. He was like, yo, we had a late session last
Right.
night. And I was like, all right, that's the icing on the cake.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. And when I say late, we were up to like
Yeah, it was
6
pretty
a.m.
bad.
I mean, I got footage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It was a very, very late night.
Yeah. So, and I mean, and I had to fight before it took me like 5 minutes to really put that message together, because in the podcast space and in this space, people will be like, yeah, we'll do it. And then you miss that window, and the window closes permanently.
Yeah.
Because
They move on.
It
Yeah.
never happens. And I'm like, man, I hope this shit don't happen. But
No.
I'd rather have that happen than to have a bad experience.
But-
And so
But I hope you remember, the energy between you and I when we first started talking. It was already there. So, like, again, that's an example of like how I feel connected to a person, and the person that recommended you.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I fuck with you. You know what I mean? So I'm like, listen, man. She said you good. You good.
We're really big on energy. Really
It's
big on energy,
important.
and it's interesting, especially when you start doing business, because you could get caught up in the this is the agreement, this is that, but we want to do good business, and good business comes with having like some sort of like good feeling.
Absolutely.
Like there's a mutual benefit here, and we can service each other in one way or another, or benefit each other in one way or another. So once we feel good energy, we go. And when we feel bad energy, we're like,
Yeah. It's scary. It's scary.
maybe we won't do that.
What was we watching yesterday? I remember we heard somebody said, it was some business success person. It was like, everybody wants to be, connected to their feelings when doing business. You don't need to have feelings or have to like a person to do business. That's what contracts are for. And I'm like, I get it. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
I get it. You ain't gotta like everybody, but for the
Right.
most part, if I'm working with you, especially if I'm sharing some type of intellectual property with you, if I'm trying to build something with you, I need to.
It should be an enjoyable
It should be an
experience.
enjoyable
Trust.
situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
That was a white person that said that, right?
I don't know. Who was it? I forgot.
It may have been.
But you get it. You
actually.
get
may
it.
have
Because
been.
some people, you got to have a balance. You can't be all about feelings. You know what I mean? That's what she
Yeah.
does for me. She helps balance me out. She's a very logistical person. And I'm like,
Clearly,
but I
yeah.
feel like this is a great opportunity. She's like, did you look at the details? I'm like,
They're asking us to do this.
No, it's what you need to do. It's funny because in my experience, almost 30 years DJing, I've done so many wedding receptions and events for people that I knew, no contract, no problems.
right.
The people that pushed having a contract
Be the weirdest.
were the ones that were the weirdos that tried to get over.
Yeah.
It's like, so now my rabbit ears go up when somebody's like, well, yeah, I need a contract. I'm like,
Right.
oh, so how you trying to fuck
They
me?
looking for a loophole, right? They looking for a loop. They looking for something that you didn't do or fulfill. Remember,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
$125.
What happened? Tell the
Yeah,
story.
right.
You got a story to tell. Let's hear the story.
Let's just say somebody that was
said
supposed
no.
yeah.
We said no, we're gonna pass.
Somebody that was supposed to be a friend of ours didn't see our value, and it was clear.
And they were pushing contracts that were like,
what? That don't serve us at all.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
You know, so
They have their place. They definitely have their
They
place.
absolutely do.
And they do serve as protection of both parties, but you have to be very mindful of what you need. I think that was one of the biggest learning experiences we've had.
Yeah.
Is we didn't even know what to ask for sometimes. It was just
Right.
like, you're giving us an opportunity, bet. We're there. We're gonna do it. We're gonna show out. We're gonna make it amazing. And
we
then,
were on our mixtape journey for a while. Like
Okay.
we were like,
you're
yo,
like,
you
can
need
we
to
get
see us
5
work.
minutes on stage,
Yes.
10 minutes on stage.
Yeah, like and we
Yeah.
did it, and we did it a long time, and we try to hit as many parties as we can, as many places as we can, and just show our work. And then it just came full circle to the point where it was like, all right, now there's no denying that we're good. There's no denying that we can
Right.
get a crowd around us. There's no denying that people love what it is that we do. Now, if you want us to do that again,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
If you want us to really blow you away, because where
Yeah.
we were then versus where we are now, even in our performances now, we spend so much time kind of like brainstorming how we're going to make this performance different. You know, how are we going to top it? What new thing are we going to add, and
Yeah.
how can we wow them? And sometimes that involves having additional things in that agreement, whether it be verbal or written.
Yeah.
You know, like
We feel like stars now, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
like we might
get
need
the-
some towels and clean this
We
up
got
after.
riders now, you know what I'm saying? We get picked up in the Suburbans. We get
my
flown
God,
down.
yeah.
Like, I mean, you know, you want me to get arrogant? That's my
Spoiled.
moment right there. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's a
I'm so blessed to be able to say that we have reached a space where people really, truly see our value. You know what I'm saying? And it starts from that initial conversation, like you said. Like people that do good business, it just turns me on. They like, so you know what I mean? Here's your right, you know, the budget for travel. Here's your budget for this. Here's your budget for that. Like when Horribles took care of us, like we didn't have to ask for nothing. She was like right away, just telling us everything that was going to take place. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's how it is moving forward.
Yeah.
Sexual Sensual, Samaya, like one of the people we love, absolutely love, because she sees our value. She's making sure that like they go above and beyond to take care of us. And I feel like that just makes us want to go harder for the people that we're working with. You know?
Absolutely. We want to make sure when we leave, everybody feels good.
Yeah.
Everybody.
That's it. That's it. Leave people better off than how you found them.
Right.
That's my mantra. So, well, damn, I don't want to get off of the
Sorry.
positive stuff.
I have one more thing.
Oh,
So we got your origin story.
Yes.
Syphon, what
Well,
is
we're
your
gonna
origin?
get there.
No.
It's in the first. It's in the thing. Did you not read the question? We actually, we prepared.
We can mix it up. Let her mix it
Yeah,
up.
mix it up.
Mix it up, yeah.
All right, well, go
About
ahead.
her.
Well, okay.
Just thinking about his editing process.
She said the logic, and she's like, I feel like this is a great time, right?
Bring it up.
We got it, but no, because it leads into, because I don't want to come back to it, because we've talked about what he's looking for, all that stuff, but I want to know about his hard limits. Like, has there anybody rolled up and was like, yo, and he's like, nah, man, I can't do that to a baby.
No.
God.
Nah.
Yeah.
Again.
So I mean, do you have hard limits with your clients, like activities, things that like
Yes.
automatically you're like, I can't entertain that?
So, there's no sex involved in my sessions. That's one of the limits. We are swingers. We do identify as, what you going to say?
Well, sex is very general
Yeah.
and broad. So there's definitely types of things that happen, but your physical parts
Oh,
are
not
not
my-
involved.
I mean, me
That's
using
what it
toys. I
is.
mean, depending on how a person might define sex, me using toys in a person, me making them orgasm with my hands and things of that nature, to me doesn't equate to sex. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
We love sex. We both identify as positive sluts. Shit, but
Love it. Okay.
you know what I'm saying? But it's a time and place for that. When a person is coming for a session, I want to make sure that they're being serviced and everything is about them at that particular time. I tell people catch us at a party or something like that. Another thing on my list is like, I'm not into blood play. I'm not into scat play. I'm not into race play, and things of that nature. Yeah, but for the most part, I've been blessed again to say that nobody has come to me to ask me for anything too extreme. And the reality is that what we have learned, and this might, take this with a grain of salt, so to speak, people that are truly into kink, that have had a lot of experience, been doing this for a long time, they're not into paying for kink. You understand what I'm saying? They're
Yeah.
like, you know, like I have just as much experience as you. I've been doing this. I've been in the dynamic and stuff like that. What people come to me for is for my particular style of king, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So for that reason, they're not coming with their demands. Yes, are people able to get creative? And the first session I always tell people is usually like we're just filling each other out. I want to show you all the different things as much as I can, not everything, but a lot of different things of what I'm capable of, how I like to deliver these things. And then the second session is when you get to send me some of your things on your bucket list, some of the things you've seen on Pornhub, some of the things you like, can you tie me up and put me like this? I'm like, all right, maybe. You know what I mean? But for the most part, to answer your question, nobody has come to me to ask me for anything that was a hard limit or anything like that.
Wow. Okay. So that's cool. That's cool because you have hard limits.
Yeah.
Nobody has taken you to your hard limits.
Yeah.
You haven't had to say no yet.
No.
Yet.
No.
We're
We're gonna manifest that. No, we good.
Hey man, because we're all evolving and changing. And something that was cool today for you tomorrow, you might be like, nah,
That's
you
a
know
fact.
what? So
Yeah.
that's the ebb and flow of life.
Yes,
So-
that's true.
So that's cool.
And
That's
you also don't perform scenes on men.
Oh yes, and I don't perform scenes on men. Thank you for letting me know.
I was going to ask you that question cautiously, but thank you for bringing it.
No,
Yeah.
because that question does it somehow
Yeah.
pops up in a way where it may be someone looking for a consultation and they're not really sure what they're really asking for. They know that they want to have time with him to learn, but they don't know if they have to have a scene with him to do it.
Okay.
So then that's when we start talking about working on getting the coaching program out and
Oh yeah.
doing different types of maybe down the line, we're not there yet, but like mentorship and things of that nature. So, just to be clear about that, like it wouldn't be a scene where he's performing.
Yeah, that was
on
good
another
because I didn't you're right. When you asked me the question, I didn't register them as clients because men that come to me and ask to book a session with me one-on-one, I'm already like, that's just not what I do. So they don't even get to the point of being my client per se.
Right.
But there are workarounds, like there are other alternatives that we can do. Like some people have, or some males have certain kinks where they like the idea of watching their partner with other people, cucking and things of that nature. So I have no problem, tying the male up to something or some type of what's the word? Apparatus.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Have them chained up over there while I'm doing this and I'm talking shit to you. You know what I'm saying? But as far as me physically engaging with them in a sensual way, that's probably not going to happen.
Nah, it's not going to happen.
Not going to happen. No.
Word choice. You said probably
Yeah,
not
no,
going to
not
happen.
gonna Yeah.
I'm going to help you out with that, brother.
Yeah, only difference would be when you do so when it's a couple,
Yeah.
then there's like that little bit of teaching element into it where I'm not sure. Am I allowed to say that?
Go ahead.
That he'll have the husband or the partner help with like the massage and talk them through it. Like we're doing this. Follow my hands where I'm going. On the other side and things like that. So like that's probably as close. That's why it's hard to say. He always tells me I never like to give like these definitive answers where it's like it's this and that's it because there are spaces where things do kind of work out that way. So
I think I can help you out with this.
Yeah.
What it comes down to is for you, a male, a penis owner, is never the focus of your attention. It's always a female form that is the focus of the attention, and the pleasure goes to her. Now, if he gets pleasure by watching, that's different, but you're never going to be the one that's going to do anything to him directly.
That's correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's correct.
That's exactly it.
That's it. Bars. Bars. So, do you have a favorite act? A preferred act? Like when they say, I want you to do this, your nipples get hard. Tell me what it is.
I like people that are into degradation.
Okay.
I love people that love to be spoken to. Again, to piggyback on what I said last time, I'm big on talking during
Dirty talk.
Dirty talk is my thing. So that's part of it. I know it should be cliche, like I want to spank everybody because I love spanking. Don't get it twisted. But
Spanker.
but I wouldn't say that that's something that like is my favorite, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I really just love watching a person melt. I really love the reaction. I love when they know, when the moment that they realize they're in good hands.
Okay.
Like they have reason to believe they're in good hands through the consultation, us talking, when we meet, you know, all of that stuff. But it's like this switch that happens when they're on that table and they just start like just giving into me, so to speak, and reacting to everything that I'm doing. And it just fuels me, you know, when I see the moans and them biting their lips and they start moving their body and they start shaking and trembling and all of those different things. So it's not a particular act that I like to do, but it's a switch or a button that I like to hit. And it happens at different parts of the scene for different people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I forget the term. What is that? A person loves, like they get turned on by compersion.
Yeah.
It's almost like a compersion situation.
Almost like a
Yes.
compersion situation, right?
That is cool. So, have you had any sessions or moments that went left? Like you thought they were going to go this way, and then at some point, like, how the fuck we get here?
Again, I'm blessed to be able to say that I can't think of one. And I don't know. Do you know this?
Man, listen. You want me to go? I'll
Yeah.
tell him. So for him, it's the client would never know.
Okay.
They would never know. They would never know at all. It would be afterwards because, you know, I obviously making sure that he's okay, going through the aftercare. I always check in and, you know, I either get the, you know, I have to catch my breath because all his clients take his breath away. They're amazing. And he has these really intense sessions. But sometimes I'll get the, oh my God, do you know that this thing wasn't working? And, or it wasn't like, for some reason it broke, or if a toy breaks or stops
Not
working.
breaks on them, but like
Not-
if
not
for some
on
reason
them,
like
like,
it's just
the
not
battery
like
is out or
whatever
something.
the button is that turns it on isn't working all of a sudden. Oh my goodness. I hear about that one and it's place the order right now. We need to replace this one because it's broken. I don't know what's wrong. I had to go on the other side of the room to grab a different utensil to do something else. And that wasn't what I wanted to do. So
That's it.
that's
it.
usually when he has moments
I
like
thought
that.
he was talking about like, you know, something totally left. But you're
Nah,
right.
those kind
But-
of things. They
Yeah.
send them a little spiral after, but
Oh my God. You don't
I always
understand.
got to bring them back. Like, did they enjoy the session? Oh yeah, they had a great time.
because they don't
good. They
know
were
what I
happy,
have
and I'm
planned.
like,
you know what I'm
good.
saying?
Right.
And that's something as professionals, we all do that in our own line of work. We're like, man, like for chefs, they're like, man, if I had this one ingredient, everybody's like, that shit was so good. It was
Right.
slamming. He's like, but I didn't make it the best way I could. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You like, yo, I forgot this one piece of, you know,
all
equipment.
the damn time.
And, like,
all the time.
but
Forgot
nobody
to turn
knows.
my ringer
Nobody,
off.
right?
It was interrupting the playlist.
Yeah.
Like things like that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, no, because clearly you are a perfectionist. Is that safe to say?
no, that's not good to say.
Well, you're giving perfectionist.
No.
So I can only imagine. Well, all right, maybe not perfectionist, but you are very particular and you're very specific.
Right.
And so that means that yes, if the battery dies, if the lube you go to squeeze it out, and that shit is. Not,
Yeah.
I can only imagine that it may catch, like you have to catch yourself in the moment because you're doing this, but you're in your mind like a DJ. I'm always 3 songs ahead. You're like 2 moves ahead. Like after I do this, I'm going to transition to that. And because you've been interrupted,
Yeah.
it fucks your flow up. I would imagine.
Yes.
Yeah.
But again, like we said, they don't notice it, but I'm in my head like, oh, where did I put them damn scissors?
I wanted her to experience this, and then I
Yeah.
wasn't able to create it, so then I had to go this way. Yeah.
So I feel like you guys might need to add a Q&A function to your apparatus. You know, every day you got to go and test. Let me
Everything.
turn. All right.
No,
let's get
getting
you know,
there.
but
No,
we
we're
definitely
getting there.
have that. Like, don't like certain mistakes don't happen twice, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm queen
charging
preventative.
toys is like I'm the king of charging toys. I overcharge. That's probably why some of my toys go out.
Yeah.
But you know, certain mistakes don't happen twice, and certain things are just gonna happen at the same time. You know what I mean? So that's what we're referring to. You know, like things that just ends up happening. Like it just clonks out on you, and you're like, oh, what is
Well,
this?
you know, not for nothing, but some of the most life-changing things were discovered by accident or
Yes.
something
Yeah,
going
that's true.
wrong, you know? So we're almost there. I'm going to let you get Syphon. Look, she about to right? So fire play. You kind of touched on it earlier, that how you were introduced to fire play through a mentor.
Yes.
Or is it? Okay, so you're not a pyromaniac before that, or what happened?
Ironically, I did used to play with fire as a kid.
Makes
you know,
sense.
and I used to play.
It's all coming together.
I did used to play with fire as a kid, not as much as I may make it seem at the moment, but I remember when I learned, or a friend of ours, mine was playing with like pouring alcohol on the concrete and then lighting it with a match and then seeing the flame go out like that. That was cool, you know, stuff like that. You know, right. Like little paper bags. It was a little
Oh my God.
on fire. You know what I mean? All concrete and stuff, but
On concrete.
you know what I mean? But other than that, there was nothing major. As far as fire play now, it is something that I love because I think it matches my style of BDSM very much. I'm very big into making a person feel intimidated or nervous based on how something appears aesthetically speaking,
right.
because I want their heartbeat to raise. I
You
want them
the
to
adrenaline.
I want that adrenaline. I want them endorphins to start to release, so to speak, so that I can take them into a space. But also I want it to be like a mind fuck when you realize that this thing that looks so scary feels so good. And fire is a perfect example of that. Everything we've learned about fire says that we should not be playing with it. We should not be putting it on our skin, definitely not on our nipples, and definitely not on your pussy, right?
Right.
But, you know,
That's what I was told.
that's what I was told. But when you experience it with a trained professional, somebody that's able to explain the science behind it and the reason that the fire isn't so hot and all the different ways that we're able to use it to not only build towards arousal, but also build towards orgasm, it really makes you stop and think about all the other things that you might have found intimidating in the past, you know? And that's what I love. I love that mind fuck. I don't care how many times I do fire play on a person. It's still going to seem scary mentally, but their body is going to be like, it feels good, we're good. But the brain is like, it's getting close. And the body's like, relax, we're good. And that, in my opinion, is a great place to be because you're present. You're not thinking about where'd you park the car. You're not thinking about the laundry. Right. You're not thinking about the job. You're thinking about fire on your pussy right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're asking yourself, do I feel good? Do I feel safe? And guess what? The answer is going to be yes. And for that reason, you're going to be in a good space.
Well, you know, it's interesting because when you think about that, saying that, it just kind of reminded me that, so you're basically making people challenge generations and thousands of years of our natural instinct to fear fire.
Yes. Yeah.
In that moment.
In that moment, yeah. That's why I said I could talk to you all day. I could do all the podcasts I want, but you're still going to be like, that's fire.
Right. That is cool. All right. Well, one last question, and Rell. So who was the first person that let you burn them up?
Shoot. In fact, my first muse for fire play was Syphon.
Oh shit, Syphon.
Yeah.
You a rider. I love it.
She came to me. That was a picture from our first date, the day I learned.
Same day, actually.
Oh.
That was the day that I learned fire play.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay. Damn, that was the day. Fire.
Yeah, we did a lot that day.
Yeah, we did. That was our first date.
First date.
Oh.
That's a nice date.
Yeah.
See, kids.
Movies aren't cutting it no more.
Yeah.
You need to get you
like Steve Harvey said, 90 days. See what happens. How long have you two been together?
Shit. Nah.
Don't say a couple of weeks. No.
It's definitely been 3 years now, right?
recounting from when we met, or from like when we decided to become
from when you met
dynamic.
From when we met.
Met December 2020.
Yeah, December 2020. Yeah.
See?
Yeah. So we're coming up on 3. God,
Nice.
it feels longer.
Yeah.
COVID does that.
COVID,
COVID does that.
But
So,
I mean, yeah. So first date, he set you on fire. He photographed your boobs. All the things. See? Yeah, I love that.
Point,
I love it.
We go from here. What's next, sir?
But to give a little bit more context, Syphon and I, we met at a swing party.
Okay.
Like she said, quite a few years ago, and I was performing at that party, And after my performances, I normally give the people in the crowd an opportunity to come up for a brief demonstration. And she did, and she enjoyed herself. She later booked a session, and we stayed in contact after that.
Okay.
And I had told her that a friend of mine was coming into town to teach me about fire play and a couple of other things. You already had met Bobby at that time. So she was comfortable with that idea. And I was like, I could really use a muse and, just somebody to be there with me and whatnot. And that was, it ended up being our official first date, if that makes sense.
That I love it. That's beautiful.
So
it's a perfect segue.
No.
Rell.
Yes.
So what is your origin story? How did you get into this lifestyle?
Okay. Origin for Syphon the Unicorn. It has been a long time building. I can pinpoint my entry into lifestyle probably better than the evolution of Syphon. So I was catching up with an old ex-boyfriend actually. And,
we don't talk about the before times.
no, we don't talk about the before times ever. But
for this record.
right. Scratch the record. So, he was telling me, he's like, yeah, my kid's this, my career that, and, I'm in lifestyle, this, then the third. And he kept saying other things. And I'm like, rewind. Did you say lifestyle because A, I know what that is, and B, how do I get in there? Because it was always like this elusive secret underground thing in my mind based on what I saw on TV. And I had no idea how people got into it. I heard of swinger parties. You always hear about the key parties where you drop the keys in the bowl and that's it. So for me, swingers always was associated with couples. I was very much single. And, I still wanted to be in these spaces and wanted to enjoy that. I had kind of had my first unicorn experience a little bit before that. And I realized that I'm probably in a good place to attempt to do this a little bit more. So I was like, do they have an app? Is there somewhere I can go? I'm joking, right? And he was like, there's an app. Here, go onto this app and create a profile and, a bunch of warnings like, you're a single woman. You look like you're going to get flooded with a lot of crazy requests. Be careful, this, then the third. And I was like, okay, great. And I found my tribe. I have been extremely fortunate, but I found my tribe of people and I started going to those parties. And they were knowledgeable about, the swinger lifestyle, but there were a couple of them that were into kink and they, talked about it more. And I started meeting other people that were having parties that had a little bit of a kink element to it. So I got to see it and witness it, and the party where we met was one of the ones that I attended. So that was my toe in. I didn't go toe. Let's be honest. I dived. I was like,
You put your fist in it.
Oh, damn.
definitely. Yeah, I got in there.
No, that's cool. That is that's very succinct. It makes sense. That's when you find that space that feels like you should have always been there.
Yeah.
That's an amazing feeling. It is a really amazing feeling. So how did you was there anything that even before that, did you feel like BDSM was in your DNA? Were you wired? Did you see certain things that was
I, when I'm thinking about that, I would say I didn't know that I was wired for BDSM or kink. My exploration and my kind of layup into it was more exploring different dynamics and power exchanges, I guess you could say, and observing other people and how they do it, kind of learning a little bit more about polyamory, focusing a lot on what compersion really is, and in having my experiences. And I have, my preference is always to play with couples. After you are everything.
Right. I'm a couple.
But a couple, you're like two couples. So I really enjoyed my experiences with couples, which is why I'm Syphon the Unicorn, because there is something extremely beautiful about two people that love one another or are really invested in one another, and them adding a third person and watching them both enjoy it and being able to please the both of them and seeing that it's actually making them closer. That feeling alone, just it makes me feel so good. That's what turns me on the most, knowing that I'm serving in this way and I'm helping them enjoy and express their love with one another. So that was it for me. So then BDSM comes, we start talking about like, you talk to each other, you're explaining like what it is that you enjoy, things that you want to experience, and it all kind of falls in line. It's just being open, talking about how you feel, and wanting to please one another. I'm a pleaser, huge pleaser. He's obviously a pleaser. And I'm like, I want to please a pleaser. Like, if I can please a pleaser, I'm on top of the world.
Nah, that's
I liked your take on being a unicorn, because usually when couples invite someone into their situation, right, they feel like, oh, one of them could be jealous or have that. But I think your take on it.
There's, there's right ways and not so great ways to go about it. But I, again, have been extremely fortunate. I found this couple, my first couple, on Tinder. And I remember swiping and it was like, the name was a guy's name, but then it was the woman in the picture. And I was like, wait a minute, what's happening here? And I noticed, like their profile, I read it a little deeper, and I was like, they look so fun. They look so fun. I want to meet them and just understand how they are navigating this space. And they were very open and honest, and the chemistry was definitely there. When he touched me, she was, excited about it. And then if I touched her, he was excited. And I was like, oh, this is working out for everybody. So.
Gosh. Well, have you had any bloopers in that space? Anything, nightmares,
In being a unicorn, you have to be careful that both parties are very invested. I don't like speaking to one party. I prefer like a group chat, because I don't want to have any sort of separate conversation with one part of the couple versus the other, because I don't ever want there to be any blurred lines or confusion. So for me, that was probably some of the hardest things that I had to learn early on. Just, make sure everybody's on the same page and that there's equity all around. Like, not that I'm just here because it makes him happy and she's just doing it because she wants to make him happy. I want to make sure that she also would like to experience this as well. Things like that. Those were like the kind of hiccups that I've gone into, but I've learned.
When's the book coming out? When's the book coming out?
Coming soon.
Very soon.
Right, maybe 2024. End of 2024. Give me some time.
So do you have like an experience that you could relive in the BDSM space? Like just a moment that if I had a time machine, I'm like, look, you can go back for about 2 hours. You'd relive.
I need a sip of water. Can you
there have been some really special moments and some really unforgettable moments. And
I was serious about the water.
you really want to? I'm sorry.
I know. you know when you gotta swallow, but you ain't got that in you.
Oh my God. There was a party. What was Black and Kinky? What would we call that?
The Castle Royalty party.
Yeah, it was. We went to a castle. Let me just start there. We went to a castle. We were performing, and this place, the way it was set up, is so beautiful. And all of my like fantasies and daydreams, like I'm the wrong side of Disney. I'm like,
right.
Trust me, you don't want to get in this head. It is a different.
She's
type
like,
of
the evil
Disneyland.
witch is so cool.
I love it. The villainesses are always dressed the best. Like they look badass. So that kind of thing. But we were at a castle and we were performing, and I think that was probably one of my favorite experiences of ours. But if I had to relive another one, it would be the other party that we did.
Wait. Shout out to Mistress Marley.
Mistress Marley.
Shout out to Mistress Marley.
Mistress Marley.
The formerly her company or event company was formerly known as Black and Kinky, and now goes by Orgasm. She throws an annual party, her royalty party, where she tries to host it in a castle for 3 days. I mean, there's a lot of details you're forgetting, babe. Can I for a second?
You want to segue into that?
It's a 3-day weekend, all right, filled with POC, right? Kink positive people.
Great food.
Great food, great
And
vibe. She
shout
makes
out
sure
to
that she
chefs
always
every
hires a
time.
chef for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh, so
I'm talking jacuzzis, pools, pool tables, bowling alleys. I'm talking all the amenities, movie theater, events, outings, all types of different things that are happening during this 3-day weekend. And you can,
Armor
if you choose to, if you choose to, you know what I'm saying, you can engage in a little fuckery, you know, anywhere you want. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? But the reality is, it's more of a vibe. It's more of a space that you just feel good. The music is always good. You know, like it was definitely one of our favorite experiences that really set the bar for being able to tap into that imagination that we have. They had secret rooms in this castle where people could sneak inside and go in there and do, you know, whatever you feel is necessary to be
Walking
done
down
in
the
that room.
hallway, there was some heavy
thought I was-
breathing coming out of a wall.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at him like,
All I wanted
somebody's in there.
was
I don't know how they got in there, but they're in there.
Yeah. All I wanted was a Coca-Cola out the vending machine. I had no idea that was a secret room. You know what I'm saying? You know, the broom closet ain't the broom closet. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't check under the steps. Like, it was a vibe. You know what I mean? And I had the opportunity to dress up as a knight. You know what I'm saying? Running around, dragging people out their room.
We had capes.
You know,
We bought in. We were fully
yeah,
in.
we were
Like,
in. We were in.
We were
You know what I'm
fully
saying? And it was definitely a vibe. So
But I think the dungeon in Atlanta for me is the one I want to relive. There
yeah.
was a lot of people involved in that scene, and
Yeah.
there was so many. I don't know. I got excited because I walked in. It was like a whole bunch of like, I don't want to say torture devices. Torture is the wrong word, but there was a lot of things that could be used to restrain and play with people.
Very strong pieces of furniture.
Very. There were things in the
strong.
ceiling that could lift you up, and
Wow.
yeah, that was an awesome experience that I would love to have again.
Yeah. Again, shout out to Mistress Marley. That was a dungeon experience. You know, not to forget, you know, Sexual Essentials experiences are always well. She has,
Oh my God.
she's yet to throw a play party. I know it's on the horizon. There you go. But she does a sex expo where we've performed at all of them so far, and it's an amazing experience. It's like royalty, you know what I'm saying, for Black folk.
Luxury, sexy.
Yeah, and she hires
the
the best
things.
performers to come out there and check it out. And live saxophonists, good food, open bar. Like, it's, you know, we got a lot of experiences that we've had that we've been blessed to be able to say we've been a part of.
Yes.
That's amazing. Shout out to Mistress Marley.
Yes,
We'll have
yes.
to holler at Mistress Marley. Need an intro. So is there anything, and on either of your bucket lists, that you haven't done yet, but you know, what's happening?
Hold on, let me pull out my list.
What?
That's, I feel like bucket list isn't the right word. It's just an
Bucket list?
ongoing list of yeah, let's try that out. Let's see how that works.
We're adding. There's a kink
Always
element to
something.
everything that we're envisioning, you know.
Okay.
And I think that's how you keep it fun. That's how you keep it spicy. You know, some people are gonna look at it like it ain't necessary, but I just feel like, you know, sex is a major part of life, and we need to start making it a priority more than we do. You know, especially for those who are at certain big ages in their lives. You already got the job, you got the career, you got the house. Come on, live a little, all right?
Right.
Like, live a little,
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Because at one point you're gonna be at an age you can be like, girl or boy, back in my day, I used to look good. You wouldn't believe it, but now you old, so you can't really give it up the way you used to. So, like, live a little consensually and safely, you know what I mean? And just use your imagination, because we're always looking for ways to, like, yo, that looks dope, but you know what else would be dope? If we was fucking on that. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, I think we got the stockade in the back. We haven't used.
yeah, it's a couple.
Like, sometimes we get stuff and we're like, yeah, we're gonna do this, this, and this, and because as much as he claims to not be a perfectionist, if it isn't the perfect situation, we don't move forward.
Yeah,
So,
there's stuff in this dungeon we haven't used yet.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, there's stuff in this dungeon.
a few things, not a lot,
Not
but
a lot.
a few things. And, you know, like the stockades, like I'm big on restraints, choking, and things that are very dungeon
Being held in
actually.
place.
Yeah, very big on those
Can't
kind of
fight
things.
back, can't move, can't run away. That type of love, you know what I'm saying?
Love,
That's,
yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. But a lot of mine involve being in other places too, because I'm very big on the senses. The senses have to be going wild.
Right.
So like if we're outdoors, I like the fact that I can hear animals, the trees, the wind, things like that, running water. I love having the elements involved. So, water,
Yeah,
fire.
water.
When we're in different places that I'm one of those people who I'm annoying. I don't do online shopping as much as most people do these days because I have to touch stuff.
Okay.
Big on
So
texture.
I'm
Yeah.
extremely big on texture. So if I'm walking into a room, I'm gonna be the person who puts their hand on the wall. And I always make sure my hands are clean, but like I definitely touch walls, and I have this thing about having like the feeling of brick against my skin. So being choked up against a brick wall for me, like that's hot because I'm not gonna move because God forbid we
She's not gonna scratch
break
herself.
skin.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
not into,
Blood
bruising.
play and all that,
I'm not
yeah.
into getting scraped up, scratched. Like it happens, but like
Yeah, and that's another
if it can be
thing.
avoided for me, like that's fine. So just pushing me against that, I ain't moving.
Yeah.
I ain't moving.
Yeah, that's
Not
all
gonna
you
scratch
gotta
me
do. Right. But some things that's on our bucket list is definitely like we spoke about it last night. An adult only cruise.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We want to definitely travel more abroad and do some things at kink friendly environments. We want to do but we're talking about kink stuff. So yeah, it has a lot to do with just traveling and being places that
performing.
and performing. We just learned about a new club that you told us about.
You want to
I'm
come
gonna
down?
I'm gonna manifest talking about going to that what was the name of it?
PGC.
No, the other one. No,
Oh,
the other
yeah.
one.
That too. We're also gonna go.
The $100,000 membership
Sanctum.
thing.
Oh, Sanctum.
Sanctum. Pleasure Garden's on the list.
Yeah, I mean,
it's been
listen,
on my list.
When we hear about things, we love to be like, all right, let's go check it out. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorite experiences. This is a good one. One of my favorite experiences was being in Texas, right? And we had went to this club that supposedly they only allow people that come in there that have memberships or whatnot. Mind you, we had flew to Texas because we had an arrangement to do a performance with a team of people that didn't work out, right? And part of that agreement was we were going to perform at this particular club that we were supposed to go to. It didn't work out for whatever reasons, but we was like, yeah, we still want to check out that club. It seemed dope. And we got there. It was late because we're always late, right? So we get there and it's late, and they're like, well, sorry, we can't let you in for two reasons. It's late, and you don't have a membership. And I'm like, do you know who I am?
Ooh.
I'll never forget this day. I'll never forget it because I remember standing there and thinking, like, we're not home.
Yeah.
Here within the community, like I can trust that, like they're gonna know who you are, or
Right.
have heard of you. So we're there, and he said that, and I was like.
Yeah, I felt my jaw dropped in the inside too, but I had to hold it steady.
I was like, he is Sir Marvelous.
I was like, I'm Sir Marvelous. I flew a long way to be a part of this
all
experience.
the way from New York City, and they were like, "Hold on."
Yeah, it was like, hold on. You said who? What? I think I know you. And it was like, next thing you know, she was giving us a full tour of the space and things that and it was a moment, like it felt really good to be able to pull rank in that way. Shit.
You earned it.
I was at another good experience. We was at my birthday barbecue the other day.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. And an EMT worker drove the truck into the park and told me, I was like, can I ask to take a picture with him?
Shit.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that was fire. That was fire. It was my birthday. My sister was there. Syphon was there. It felt really good. It feels good to be seen and recognized out, and then like the lovely words that come after that as well. So, that is dope.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I love it. All right, but I'm not going to let this go. I'm like a dog with a bone. So what is the next thing on your we're not going to call it a bucket list, on your list of things that you haven't done that you want to do? What do you have your eyes on? What is it that, like, realistically you're like, you know what?
Amsterdam.
Right?
We definitely got to check out Amsterdam.
Yes.
Okay.
Just because, I hear it's a great place for the things that we like to do, So we want to do things abroad. We want to see how other people do it in different countries, We want to go to places that are sexually liberated.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And see what it's like over there. We want to learn. We want to explore the world. So, there's no particular act because anything that's done anywhere can be done here, right? But the reality is it's just being in a different environment, feeling different energies, seeing how people do it. That's what we want to experience.
You know what, man? See, that's a flex. You have done so much that the only variation for you at this point in your life Is this a location? Like, we done did that here in New York, so
no.
we gotta go to Amsterdam.
Another continent.
We gotta do it on other continents.
Like somebody else's St. Andrew Cross.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think what's something that we've been talking about a lot, and as far as making happen, and we touch on it lightly, but we really want to do like full-fledged role play scenes that involve a crowd.
Yes.
Sort of like when you do like one of those like murder mystery dinners. So an immersive experience. So we want to have something like that. It would need to be a little more intimate. It can't
planned,
be
yeah.
huge, but it has to be, well planned. We would need, consent from certain parties that play a bigger part than others. But like we've been talking about making some scripts, some role play scripts, because
Yes.
we were seeking them out just so that we could kind of do it.
Yeah.
And we were having a hard time
Finding them.
like the right thing. So if you can't find what you're looking for,
Make it.
we've learned that you have to kind of make your own way.
We've been thinking about this since literally the first year. We was at the castle. We had came up with this beautiful idea. We brought scrolls, right, where I was gonna write down a list of things that she did wrong. You know what I'm saying, to punish her in front of the crowd, and we was gonna have one of the other dominatrix read out the list of crimes because we're in the castle. I'm like, let's act this shit out, and I whip her ass for everything that she did. You know what I'm saying, and it was gonna be a very fun experience for you. But yeah, we definitely, like I said, it's our imagination that makes our experience different. We want to create more theatrical experiences that also encompass this orgasmic experience at the same time.
Yeah, because we're big exhibitionists. So
Yeah.
playing into that and being able to give people a full experience.
I'm not mad at that. I think you should do all of those things.
Yeah, we should do those things.
We should do it. We should do it.
We should do
the
those
things.
things.
Okay. At the same
All
time,
the things.
though, right?
That's the slogan.
Gotcha. All the things.
All the things.
Mondays you work on the scripts. Tuesdays you do work on the role playing thing.
Outfits.
The fits.
Outfits.
Oh, I like to get dressed.
I've been trying to get her to agree to having a handshake. You think that's a great idea, right?
I think it is a level of intimacy.
Thank you.
That
I like the start of that.
That is unparalleled. Like, did you know LeBron James has an individual handshake for all of his teammates?
Thank you. See?
He remembers each of them.
And he remembered. Well, the dude's he's a genius.
Yeah, he is.
He really is. Like, his IQ is off the charts. But that is something that it's between you and him, and it can't be duplicated. If somebody else tries to do it, they'd be like, "The fuck you doing?"
Right.
Jazzy Jeff talks about that because how him and Will had
Yeah.
Oh my God.
that thing. People have tried to do that with him, and he's like, "No,
Nah, I only do that with one person. Right.
right? That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we'll
you go-
fuck other people."
Oh, yeah. Don't do that handshake. Yeah. No.
We gotta work on it.
You know what's so crazy? I mean, I was joking with the handshake, and I'm not at the same time. I'm gonna get her to do it. But
What
but what you said was so powerful just now, and I don't think it was probably caught or captured properly. There's a lot that you could experience with other people, but there has to be certain things that you save uniquely. That's how you separate. You know what I mean? Who you are with your person versus everybody else, and that's super duper important.
Don't try to sell
That's
me.
a level.
Like a handshake.
That's a
All right, but it's got to be a cool one. I don't want it to be horrible.
All right.
I think
Y'all
you got-
doing the little crazy fingers.
Yeah, no crazy
I mean,
fingers.
that's
We can't do jazz hands. Oh, okay,
Don't have me out here looking crazy. Don't have me out here looking crazy. Please.
But and I don't know when we would do it. Maybe like when we walk off stage after we done performing. I don't know.
Oh, every
That's possible.
time.
Every time, right?
you do something, after you done setting her on fire, putting it out,
Yeah.
she reaches
When I'm
back.
depleted and I got nothing left to give. Yeah, that's the time you want to quiz me on a handshake.
Yeah.
No.
Nah, that
Do you
might
remember
be.
what I look like when we're done? I
Yeah, you slide off.
slink over to a bathroom usually.
Yeah, she was like,
I look like I've been used and abused.
and I'm like, hey, wait, we forgot the handshake.
No, I love it. So, do you guys have advice on couples who have reached that point in their relationship where they're like, all right, missionaried it to death? One partner is looking to get deeper.
Spicy.
Yes. How would they get their partner on board. And that's, we can put aside the consent and all that stuff. Like clearly the other partner is willing to listen.
Okay.
You have advice on how to.
You can go first, babe.
Okay, so, consent's out the way. They're willing to listen, because that's actually the biggest hurdle. Like,
Right.
trying to get a person to be open to a conversation that involves kinky things. But I think, first and foremost, just knowing what you're doing already that may be considered kink, and maybe exploring some of those things a little deeper could be one way to do it if you're trying to, like, slowly go in. So a lot of people, do the slapping on the ass when they're having sex, a little bit of choking here and there. That's light work. Okay, light work. But if you really think about it, like the asphyxiation part of it could be something that you could explore a little bit more. People using blindfolds, like that's sensory deprivation. So sometimes giving those names to the things and seeing what other ways you can achieve it is one way to explore. And then we all, if it's me, it's like, I'm gonna show you a video of something that's going on. And be like, oh my God, what do you think of that? How you feel about that? It's crazy, right? I mean, she looks like she's having a great time. It's usually when I get close. Looks like she's having an amazing time. I wonder what that feels like.
Nah,
Throw that out there.
She's very direct.
Yeah.
Very direct.
Yeah.
I'm like, talk to me nicely.
Yeah. Ease me into
Ease
it.
me
And it takes a
into it.
couple of days for him to think about it. And he comes back and goes, you know something?
Yeah.
We're going to have a scene. What he'll do is I'll bring something up. Mm-hmm. We're in a constant state of negotiation. That's the other thing.
It's
Constant state of negotiation. So if I bring something up, I have to be careful what I sprinkle into conversations, because it may become reality very shortly after, because he's very good about immediately jumping on it.
Yeah.
So I might be like, I could someday see myself wanting,
good, because I ordered 3.
Yeah. I think I mentioned to him, I was like, I sometimes I like watching dungeon porn, and then they're always using like the sex machines, this and third, and then as soon as the sex machine shows up in the house, I'm like, this is happening.
This is happening.
This is happening. Okay.
Yeah.
Embrace myself.
No, but to go back to your question, I think that some of the best ways to have these conversations, like she said, is to put a name to some of the things that you may enjoy.
Okay.
In addition to that, I'm going to bring it back to the questionnaire thing. I'm a big fan of questionnaires, quizzes, personality tests, all of these different things, because sometimes, you may have some curiosity about a particular topic and you're ashamed or shy to bring it up. But if it comes up on a different, entity or a platform of some sort, it kind of takes the pressure off of you of asking that question, and then and more likely than not, you're going to get an honest answer, right? And then you guys can compare those answers together. But also stop looking at BDSM and kink as this other world. It's not. Like you mentioned, we're doing a lot of these things, we just don't know what they're called. If you like to be choked, that's a form of asphyxiation play, like she mentioned. If you close your eyes, fuck a blindfold. If you like closing your eyes while making love, then by definition, you might be into sensory deprivation. If you like getting your ass smacked while he hitting it from the back, you might be into impact play. And understanding that there's true science behind a lot of why these things may add value to your experience is a great start. When you're talking about impact play, it's not just about spanking a person, because a lot of the times what people get it wrong is they think that we're looking to hurt people or be super intense. Not true at all. We're looking to be sensational. So sometimes just dragging a flogger across a person's body could be enough. Other times we're looking to increase blood flow to particular areas of the body that are going to make a person feel more aroused, because one of the keys to arousal or, pleasure is blood flow to those particular areas. What happens when a man's dick is hard?
Just blood flow, yeah.
Just blood flow going to those areas. And it's the same thing for women and those erogenous areas all over our bodies. So understanding that it's not something separate. It's not something you don't have to go out, above and beyond to do something crazy in order to experience something different. Just taking it up a little bit at a time, but also becoming clear on what it is that you want to experience, because everybody's definitions are not the same. If I say I like rough sex, that means 4 different things to 4 different
Yeah.
people in this room.
Yeah,
You
you
understand?
have to be
So
descriptive.
try to be descriptive on what it is that you're asking for, because sometimes a person may be saying no to something because they don't know what it is that you mean. So just have these conversations, and prioritize time to have these conversations. And the reason I say that is because sometimes, it may not be the right time. Sometimes a person may not be in the right headspace. Sometimes a person may be in a joking state of mind and they're not necessarily there to have a serious conversation. So therefore you won't get a serious answer. And then all of a sudden the answer you get is the one you run with. You're like, oh, I tried to bring it up to you one time while you was cooking spaghetti and you told me you don't like this and I just never asked again. No, that's not the way you ask a question. That's not the way you have a serious conversation. You prepare the table. Hey, I would love to talk to you about something that matters to me. Nothing crazy, but this is something I think is important. I would love to hear your opinion on a couple of things. Can we talk about it next Tuesday, tomorrow, later tonight, before we go to bed? And can we just try to be as open and honest with one another? We won't judge each other.
Safe space.
Creating that safe
spaces
space. Yeah.
are so needed.
So that's great. Like, to your point. So not while they fixing spaghetti or occupied with things.
Holding knives.
But also,
Don't do it. What you think about a threesome, babe?
Yeah, right.
And who are you thinking?
Yeah.
Tell me right now. No.
Or even during sex
Yeah.
or right after sex is probably not a good time to have that conversation either, right? And probably definitely not if you're not getting along.
Right. Yeah.
You want to at least make sure you guys are cool before
Yeah.
you venture into that territory.
Yeah.
It would make the most sense, yeah.
Okay. All right. So last question, because before we do the tour and all that stuff, 'cause I can't wait to show off this dungeon and do these other things. But all right, somebody decides they want to start their dungeon. They have, let's say, $1,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are a few things that you recommend that people start out with? Just general, the standard issue dungeon requirements to make you have a solid start.
A bedroom dungeon starter.
So we're going to be releasing what I would like to call, or what we would like to call, like the Marvelous Sex Kit, right? So,
Trademark that. Right.
Yeah.
So, you can find it at my website, sirmarvelous.com. You can purchase toys from there. So that's one way to do it. But what I would recommend that if you have the space, I like massage tables. I'm really big on massage tables because massaging is a big part of my experience. And the reason I like massage tables particularly is because you can get all around the body. When you try to massage a person on a couch or on a bed, sometimes it's kind of hard and your back start to hurt. It's not as
immediately you're not enjoying it, so it doesn't. You're not
doesn't
able
flow.
to just go into it.
Doesn't flow.
You're like, all right, let me hurry up and make sure I get the legs. I don't want to leave the legs.
Yeah.
But my back is killing me.
I'm leaning over. I feel like I'm
thinking
planking
about.
upside. Like it's just not it.
Yeah, let me
and I
just
know.
go ahead and put it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
We need to get horizontal in here.
and I know that probably wasn't what people were expecting. They were expecting me to say like, a vibrator or some sort, which is cool too. I definitely think getting some form of a wand, vibrator, bedroom candy. Pass me that one. Shameless plug.
Mic drop.
We have these on sale for the on the website. This is a mic drop wand. This is really good for partner play because it's an area vibrator.
Is it turn it on?
Oh, you want to hear it?
The power. Let's
Yeah.
test that.
Let's make it visceral for this.
Touch the mic, baby. Touch the mic.
Touch
baby.
it?
Touch
Yo,
it.
you don't have to touch it.
Touch it, baby.
Okay,
Touch it.
why you say that? That was a preview, right? Yeah, that's it. And so that's called the drop the mic.
Mic drop. Yeah.
Mic drop.
This is a wand.
And that's just the first setting. There's 10.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it memorizes the last setting that it was on. So if you like something, you want to stick to that, that's something you can do. But I like wands because they're really good for partner play. I know that everybody's on to the rolls now and different forms of like satisfiers and suctions, but that roll's got to be precise. You know what I mean? Like if you've used one, it got to be precise. So sometimes using it.
How you know she know what you mean?
She started laughing. She started laughing. Yeah.
Right.
But you want to use toys that are conducive to partner play if you're working with somebody else. And from my experience, roses are amazing and they can be used for partner play. But sometimes those suction toys, you got to keep it on the same spot. If not, it ain't giving as much as it should.
Right.
But with area vibrators, you can just keep it on that area and the entire thing's gonna vibrate. So you're giving that clitoral stimulation. I'm into overstimulating a person's body, especially a woman, because there are so many different types of orgasms that she's able to have. You know what I mean? You can start off with something as simple as a blindfold or rope or a massage candle. We also sell massage candles on bedroomcandy.com, or you can just go to sirmarvelous.com again.
It's all Sir Marvelous.
All sirmarvelous.com.
Don't forget that other one. I might have to bleep that one out.
Yeah, we got links to those.
We got links to those places.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, so you can start with a massage candle, blindfold, a little bit of rope.
And we like this rope because not all ropes are created equal. So a lot of times you'll see like jute is that harder brown rope.
Yeah.
So what
And
kind of rope is that?
Nylon.
This is
Looks like
nylon, and it's really
It's a
like
synthetic
silky and
Sensual.
soft and sensual.
And it
so.
looks good. It looks beautiful. You got different colors. You got UV lights, so you could have some. You have some glow in the dark rope. You could do all types of different things, and they're easy to clean. Super easy. You can throw them right in the washing machine.
We do all the
You
time.
know.
They look
So-
good with your Home Depot lights, Rell.
Yeah, there you go, right there. You know.
and everything in that is unisex, right? So even the vibrator,
Yeah, you
the
can put it on his
wand,
gooch while you doing other
real
things.
quick to the
too.
gooch.
Right. You can put it on his nipples. You can put it on any part of his body. Put it on the back of his calves. You'd be surprised. You got to find erogenous areas in different ways. Like you discover things by accident. Like you say, you're like, oh shit, I didn't never get that part of my leg touched. You know,
That's it.
stick with it. But you know, you definitely load up on some lube and some massage oil, and you know, get creative with it. Sometimes you might warm it up. Sometimes you put it in the refrigerator, make it a little bit colder. You know, different ways that you can play with temperature play. You don't need expensive equipment in order to get started. You know, use your creativity and build on that. You know, those chains right there on the X are from Home Depot. I can use those in a sensual way. I can just place them over a person's body. I don't got to chain them to the table.
this is
Just place
sensation
the sensation of the
and the
cold
weight.
chains, or if I put them in a warmer, I can make them warm and put that over a person's body. The weight of the chains is something. The sound of the chains. Remember, they're blindfolded, tied up, and they hear or this rattling, and now they feel something over them, and I'm like, you bet not move. You know, talking like getting real creative. You know, you can use things in your house for sensation play. Everything is not about spanking or hitting a person with something.
Right.
Sometimes it's about teasing a person with the implement. If a person is not able to see and hear and move, and you're touching, you could use that tripod and just drag it across the person's body. I know it sounds crazy, but they be like, what the heck is that? They don't know it's a tripod. They think it's something else, and guess what? It gives a different type of sensation. So get creative with the things that you have. Look in your kitchen for things, you know, get that wooden spoon. You know, you don't need a lot of money. That's the biggest misconception. It's not the the things that make the man, right?
Absolutely.
So
if somebody later on asked me to drag that tripod across them, I'm gonna let
Hey,
you know. But I'm like, that's Sir Marvelous fault.
make sure her skin is a little moisturized.
Nah, that's cool. So before we move, well, Rell, did you have any? Apologize. Yeah, you good? Okay. So before we move to the tour and all that, plug your shit, talk your shit.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So
Please, if you are interested in any of my work, go to sirmarvelous.com, sign up for my email list so you could be kept up to date with everything Marvelous. And the reason I do that is because these social media platforms are here today, one day, and gone tomorrow. In addition to that, you can find me on Instagram at Sir Marvelous Kinks. You can find me on TikTok at Sir Marvelous Kinks, and on Twitter at Sir Marvelous. But if you want a link to all of those different platforms, YouTube channels, coaching programs, private sessions, go to sirmarvelous.com. Have a marvelous day, baby.
yeah, I like that. Syphon, that's all.
Where can we find
Yeah, I could be found via him. Wherever Sir is, I am, and you know, I'm in the process of creating.
She don't want to.
I don't even.
She don't want to drop the info yet.
Yeah,
you got something big in the works.
It's scary because I'm so. I mean, I'm not even sure when this would air, but
A couple weeks.
Oh. So, you know, I'm transitioning from the workplace and moving into this full-time space because this is my passion, this is my purpose, and I have a lot to offer in this space, and I'm being restricted and held back because I'm trying to stay in that corporate,
I know,
you
what
know,
you're saying.
I know exactly.
place and making sure that I still have things coming in to pay the bills. But I believe in us, and I know that we're gonna be fine. So
Okay.
And she believes in her.
Yeah.
Syphon
Yeah.
_ unicorn.
Yeah.
Make sure that you hit her up. You can start by DMing her. You can join the email list for information that's going to be released about her. She's going to also be doing some coaching, some one-on-one mentoring. People are coming to her all over, asking her questions about being submissive, questions about joining into the lifestyle. There are so many different things that I've learned from Syphon. So she's going to be stepping into that space as an educator as well. She may be even taking on some private sessions. I mean, supposed to announce that just yet, but there's definitely going to be a space for Mistress Syphon.
no, it's not Mistress.
Oh, you
I'm
don't
not
like
a
the Mistress. I'm sorry. I'm
We
sorry.
are Syphon the Unicorn.
Syphon the Unicorn.
www.syphontheunicorn.com.
Syphon Unicorn. Right.
And all the things that I will be
Yeah.
providing as I want to consider myself more of like a helpful guide to others that are trying to explore the space, get their feet wet, and learn a little bit more about how they can make their fantasy life more a reality.
Yes.
And still, you know, make sure everything's okay. It's been a journey, and I want to share it. I get asked some of my top questions, other than what's it like to be a sub, is where did you get that outfit? Where did you get that lingerie? And a long part of my journey and
Talk that shit,
body
baby. Talk that shit.
issues growing up, because I wasn't the stereotypical, you know,
Right. Yeah.
beauty, you know, and then stepping into lifestyle, I started to really, really, really appreciate my body so much more, and feeling so much more confident
Good for you.
in it. And I have been on this like I've got a lingerie room actually, and I was like, you know what, I should probably share where I'm getting my stuff, like how I'm, you know, like paying for it, and not like, you know,
How it
broke,
fits, how it feels,
how it
the
fits
textures.
on my body, and things like that, because being my size for a very long time, there wasn't representation in those
Right.
areas. Victoria's Secret just started showing plus size models, you know.
Yeah.
Rihanna having Savage X Fenty has been making sure that there's, you know, representation there. So I'm stepping into it.
No, it's a beautiful
Sure.
thing. And you know, so you just to hit on something, like people don't realize that when you're building a platform, whatever you're doing, a part of it is aspirational shit. Like you have to give people an idea, like an aspiration for their lifestyle. So how they dress, how they move. If you have swag, I'm sounding old, right? If you have swag, if you're giving fashion inspiration, that helps you build your platform, because that's people, they want to look at somebody and be like, I want to be like her.
Right.
I want to be like him. And they start modeling themselves after what you do. So you guys are well on your fucking way. So congratulations for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And if there's anything that we can do to help support you guys along the way, don't hesitate to ask, because again, it's positive vibes. This has been a great experience, right, Rell? Rell's
Yes,
looking
it
at me
has.
like,
Thank you.
nigga, shut up. But no, congratulations. Woo! All right, so this is the Cultured Misfits podcast. This is going to be multiple episodes. So what's up next is the tour and some other goodies. So you guys can all say goodbye to the camera.
Thank you so much for having us.
See you in a few.